Welcome to Trust and Obey with Chuck Frank, and this is an election day G-drop. Well, it's election day, an incredibly important day. An election is an incredibly important concept in Christianity. So I want to read one verse to you from Romans chapter 9, verse 16, written by the Apostle Paul. It says, "So then it is not of him who wills, nor of him who runs, but of God who shows mercy." I want to read that again. "So then it is not of him who wills, nor of him who runs, but of God who shows mercy." Now, let's talk about that in the Christian faith, and then we'll talk about it in the political application of election, because there's parallels to both of these things. The concept of election is that you can't, by your will, get yourself to heaven and have eternal salvation. You can try as hard as you want, but the Bible says all of your best efforts are as filthy rags. So you can't get there by an act of will. It says, nor of him who runs. You can't decide that, you know what, I'm going to be the best person I can be, and I'm going to face every day, and I'm going to be doing good and representing good and not representing God, and I'm going to do it all on my own. And so him who runs a great race by all the externalities is ultimately a loser. It says, so that it's not of him who wills, nor of him who runs, but of God who shows mercy. So I'll just say personally, God was trying to draw me to him over decades, and I continued to reject the offer because I was just absolutely given over to sin and rejected it every time. I look back now and I think, I cannot believe how awful I was and how patient and loving God was. There were so many opportunities, and I rejected them all, just living this sinful life of willfulness, right? The one who wills, the one who runs. And it wasn't until all of my willfulness and all of my running and wanting to be the God in my own life that my life was an absolute shambles. And at that point, I was at the end of all that, and I could look to this wonderful offer and say, please accept me in my sinfulness so that I could have hope of salvation. So it's no credit to me. It is all credit to God. But the difficult thing in our faith is that we don't know why God draws some to him and others he doesn't. But that's only the first part of the equation. Once he draws you to him, you have to make a choice. And if you're honest, you'll look at all the times that you chose the world of Satan over the offer of God and did not say, yes, thank you for that invitation. I'm blessed by you. So this is the concept in our faith, and a lot of Christians have trouble with it because it doesn't seem fair. And there's no answer in the Bible for why God chooses certain people and others he doesn't. There's no way we can quantify that. We're only going to find out once we get there. So now let's look at the concept of election, a gift given by our founders to us so that we can participate. And there's no other way to put it. We're in a battle between good and evil. Our country has been overrun by Luciferian Marxists, and they're preparing to take over the entire globe, enslave it, and they will destroy Christianity first. That is a primary target. So how does election apply to election day? Well, for believers, we are hoping that God will draw the United States back to him after decades of us rejecting him, pushing him away, and basically blaspheming him. Now let's say that he responds to our prayers and he draws the United States to him. There's that second part of the equation where personally as Christians, we have to accept the offer. The way that we accept the offer on election day is to go to the voting booth and then vote the will of God. And let's not confuse that issue. You cannot go into that voting booth hoping to save your country from being subsumed by evil and then vote for anything and anyone that promotes the slaughter of the innocents. That's a rejection of God. That's what put us here in the first place, was trying to parse these things. There's no parsing evil, okay? It is a black and white issue. And you're not confusing God with word salad, okay? He understands. He sees the heart. If you have that blackness in your heart, then you're rejecting the offer of him to draw the country back, and we will all suffer the consequences. So go into that voting booth prayerfully and examine each of those circles that you fill in and make sure that your vote is glorifying God, and that will be your acceptance of him saying, I will draw this nation back so that it can once more be a shining city on a hill and the hope of the entire globe. Then we'll have a wonderful election day. And hopefully you'll personally, if you're fortunate enough to have God draw you to him, that you won't hesitate, that you will elect to say, thank you, yes, I want Jesus Christ to be Lord of my life. This is a big day. This is a huge moment in our country, and it's a huge moment for every single one of us individually that we'll look back on. Please do the right thing today. Allow God to bless you. Allow God to bless the United States of America. Today is big with blessing. And watch him work. God bless you.